Welcome back, club members, to your November edition, and we're looking at the idea of minimalist maximalism. And what does that mean? Well, for us, we're talking about minimal intervention in terms of the winemaking, so actually producing the wine, but maximalism. We talked about this in the team. We're like, is this actually a word? Doesn't matter, we don't care. It's all about maximum focus on viticultural practices. So what's happening in the vineyard resulting in the wine. So the two houses that we've chosen for this month for our lovers, we've got Jean-Paul DEVILLE coming out to everybody, the Cuvée Opalist. We've chosen two Blanc de Blancs to give you a nice comparison. And the other producer that's coming out to all of our connoisseurs this month is ETIENNE CALSAC. I love ETIENNE CALSAC cuvées. So Jean-Paul DEVILLE, they've got a very small 11-hectare plot in the town of VERZY. Now, VERZY classically produce beautiful ripe Juby Pinot Noir. They're located in the Montagnne de REIMS, and ETIENNE CALSAC, the house is located tiny 3 hectares located in AVIZE, but he's sourcing fruit from a few different parcels. CALSAC started his little chez, his MAISON, in 2010, making his first wine in 2011 after taking over from his grandparents who were previously selling their fruit to the big maisons, to the grand marques. And the DEVILLE family started in 1968. The DEVILLE family, now 5 generations down the line, we've got Marie Alice, who is the lovely heir who's producing wine at the moment. And we've got Etienne, of course, who's a young guy who's certainly top of the pops and top of mind for anyone who loves cult grower champagnes. His wines are in such super high demand. Both houses, however, have a real focus on viticulture. DEVILLE classically has very low yields and a very, very high attention to detail, and CALSAC is no exception. With CALSAC, there's no fining, there's no filtration, malolactic conversion, so converting from tart malic acid into creamy malic acid into creamy lactic acid. That's spontaneous. He allows that to happen or occur. He's not controlling it. He's using indigenous yeasts, so yeast to trigger the ferment of the wine that's found naturally within the vineyards. You'll see cover crops growing in both of their vineyards, so they're allowing some competition for the vine with a little bit of cover crop, both of them using organic farming. So when it comes to making the wine, it's very hands-off. There's not a lot of pony tricks that are going on. There's not a lot of tricks going into making the cuvées, but a lot of attention to detail when it comes to viticultural practices, health of the fruit, health of the vine, translating into beautiful, healthy wines. And we've got 2 standouts this month. We are looking at Blanc de Blancs from both houses. I love doing this because it gives you a really nice comparison. You've got a lot of cross comparison in style of fruit, style of winemaking. Coming out to all of our lovers, we have Opalist. This is, most of the wines are aged for 5 years and above in Jean-Paul DEVILLE. We've got a couple of grams of dosage. What's really interesting about this wine is that the Chardonnay is coming from VERZY. Classically within VERZY, quite mountainous slopes, chalk clay, limestone subsoils, you're seeing Pinot Noir everywhere. So it's kind of cool to see Chardonnay grown from VERZY, and what you end up seeing is that hallmark DEVILLE character. It's all about structure, it's all about body and tension. And from CALSAC, Le Chapeau Belle. I love this wine. I actually haven't had this wine for ages, so I'm so happy to have it back in the club. It is a hard one to source sometimes because the quantities are so small. I mean, imagine 3 hectares of land and then breaking that up across the globe when you've got a winemaker who's this cool. It's not an easy thing to do. So Le Chapeau Belle is an extra brut. It's 3 grams of sugar. It's all Chardonnay. You've got Chardonnay coming from some different plots. You've got Côte de Cézanne, you've got the Côte de Blanc, you've got the Vallée de la Marne, but most of the fruit coming from GRAUVES. And GRAUVES is this really interesting plot, which I often find gives you quite tropical notes. It's a cooler climate subterranean, so quite crisp, refreshing acid profiles, quite bright. But again, no fining, no filtration, no intervention in the wine making. So both of them very cool. really cool when you have the opportunity to look at the wines side by side. And I think that this is where maximum benefit of the club comes from, is having both champagnes. And if you've got the opportunity with a group of friends or with one other person or by yourself, it doesn't matter, just to open the champagne side by side or back to back and have a look at them both, I think it's really interesting. We've got two Blanc de Blancs. We've got a slight difference in dosage, so slightly higher in the Jean-Paul de Vie and the Opalis than we have in Le Chappé Belle, the Great Escape from Etienne CALSAC, which is an extra brut. On opening the wine and looking at the wines, the mousse is quite fine. You've got a really small silky bubble on both cuvées. Similar colour, but quite different on the nose. When I put my nose into Opalis, I get this chamomile character. Acacia, floral, apricot, honey, quite rich, quite voluminous, and very chiseled structure. So real broad shoulders on this wine, beautiful structure on the palate, which is hallmark of the DEVILLE family style, wines with a lot of weight and a lot of character. And for the second wine, La Chappé Belle. Has an orange blossom, lemon zest, white peach, orchard fruit. It's got a chalky, almost like a sherbety, chalky character to it. But what I love most about this wine is palate structure. When you bring down dosage, in the right circumstances, you get this beautiful acid line and this lovely welling of saliva, but the power of this particular wine lives on the palate for moments after you finish your sip. A lot of the wines that are made by Etienne CALSAC are using a very long history of reserve wine. So every year he's keeping a Solera system of reserve wines where he's adding in more wine each year. So you've got enormous power, weight, structure and length on each of the cuvées, but this beautiful soft acid line that wants you coming back for the next sip, the next glass, and I love that. Beautiful texture of the wine. Again, no fining, no filtration, no intervention. It's just letting the wine do its thing, indigenous yeast, kicking off naturally, taking on its evolution. Some of the wines will have Malo, some of the wines won't have Malo. 75% of the wine is aged in a stainless steel tank, 25% of the wine's in foudre, in timber, to give some spice to the cuvee. Both of them amazing wines. Both of them Chardonnay with immense character, but what's important for this month is that we're looking for wineries that are hands off with the winemaking, letting Mother Nature take its course, but maximum intervention when it comes to viticultural practices. Two awesome champagnes. I hope you like them both. Jean-Paul de Vie and Etienne CALSAC for this month's club. And our new container has just arrived, so we've got 6 new champagnes coming out to you, to our club members, unique champagnes over the coming months. So if you aren't at connoisseur level already, sign up so you get to see all of the cuvées that won't be listed anywhere else. See you next month.